Victor was born in the spring of 44, another a child of sacrifice, a child of war, another son who never had a father after Leningrad, went off to school and learned to serve the state, followed the rules, and drank his vodka straight. The only way to live was drown the hate. A Russian life was very sad, such was life in Leningrad. I was born in 49, a Cold War kid in McCarthy time. Stop 'em at the 38th parallel, blast those yellow reds to hell. A Cold War kids were hard to kill, under our desk in an air raid drill. Haven't they heard we won the war? What do they keep on fighting for? Victor was sent to some Red Army town, served out his time, became a circus clown. The greatest happiness he'd ever found was making Russian children glad. The children lived in Leningrad. But children lived in Levittown and hidden in the shelters underground until the Soviets turned the ships around and tore the Cuban missiles down. And in the bright October sun, we knew our childhood days were done. And I watched my friends go off to war. What do they keep on fighting for? And so, my child, and I came to this place to meet him eye to eye and face to face. He made my daughter laugh, then we embraced. We never knew what friends we had until we came to Leningrad. What was the purpose of that song to begin the stream with? Well, 1989, Billy Joel's second to last album came out called Stormfront. And Billy Joel wanted to do a Bob Dylan inspired type of concept album. And the song Leningrad is about his trip to Russia when he played Behind the Iron Curtain. It's about a friend of his, Victor, and they're still friends to this very day. And he wrote about the Cold War. That's what the song's about. It's about the Cold War. If you were listening to the lyrics, you knew that Russia and America have been at hot tensions since then, and we still are at hot tensions. It is objectively logical that we should have a peace treaty with Russia. But yet you have the Democrats and Republicans who are like, no, more war, more Cold War. No, that's going to lead us to a fucking disaster. No more Cold Wars. The Cold War's been over for 30 plus years. The Russians are not Soviets anymore. And it's getting so bad that now the Trump administration is jumping on this new Red Scare where all Russians should be painted as bad. MSNBC or NBC News covered the story, and it was one of Trump's Secretary of States. I forget which one. I don't know which one, really. I don't know his name. But this older dude was saying, we're concerned about possible Russian interference in the midterm elections. A nonsensical statement, because it's not even November. It's August, September, October, 4 months away. 4 months away from the midterms, right? Now, keep this in mind. Somebody commented on that video saying all Russians except U.S. citizens should be deported. Yeah, because never mind those who are on visas, never mind those who are foreign exchange students, never mind those who are seeking asylum from Russia, never mind those who are in the process of becoming American citizens. Yeah, just deport all of them. Deport all those men, women, and children for doing nothing wrong. Because that makes fucking sense. Fuck you, you bigoted piece of shit who replied like that. Fuck you. Because guess what? Because Russian children are not the Kremlin. Neither are their parents. Neither are the men and women who are here on student visas. They're not the Kremlin. And I'm so sick of these people in the Democrats or Republicans and on Fox News and on MSNBC and on CNN painting every Russian, foreign exchange student or American citizen or immigrants or not as Kremlins. I'm so fucking sick of it. They're people, not Kremlin. They're not Soviets. They're not spies. They're people who either live in America, who were born here, or they're people coming to America for a better life. They're not the fucking Kremlin. Okay? They're not. Stop painting them as the Kremlin. Because you have Russian Americans who are fucking terrified to leave their house because of all this shit. They're fucking terrified of leaving their house. This anti-Russian people sentiment in America since 2017 has got so bad that there's anti-America rallies in Russia as we speak. Because Russian citizens of Russia are not the Kremlin. And they're so sick of the American media painting them as the fucking Kremlin. And so they're holding anti-America rallies in Moscow. Let that sink in. Congratulations, media. Look what you made the poor Russian citizens of Russia do. You made them so terrified of America that not only are they holding anti-American rallies, Russian Americans at home are terrified to leave their house. Russian citizens who are here on visas, maybe because they're foreign exchange students or maybe because they're in the process of becoming American citizens, they're terrified of being in public because of this anti-Russian people sentiment. Instead of saying Russians on television, if you have to cover that story or that nonsensical shit, do yourself a favor. Say Russian government. Make the distinction. Russian government. Don't say just Russians, because that's a blanketed statement. May I remind you that in the 1940s, what we did to Japanese Americans, because when the Japanese army, let me emphasize that, Japanese army bombed Pearl Harbor, FDR not only says, okay, we got to enter the war, when it was a little too late for a lot of Jewish people of Europe, because they were in concentration camps or being killed by the Nazis already. We should have been in World War II, right, from 1938, but we didn't do that because of our isolationist policy. But that's besides the point. After Pearl Harbor got bombed, what did Franklin Delano Roosevelt sign into play? A presidential executive order rounding up all Japanese Americans and their parents and putting them into internment camps, which is basically a concentration camp for Japanese Americans. Ex-George Takei, he was a victim of that. He was a victim of the internment camps. Now, I want you to understand, what did we do to the Japanese Americans that was so wrong? Just because their parents were born in the wrong country, automatically they're related to the Japanese army men who bombed Pearl Harbor. Yeah, because that makes sense. Then all this anti-Japanese people propaganda started coming out. Listen to all the classic radio shows of the 1940s that were comedy shows based around the events of the time. You'll hear a lot of, watch out, the Japs are moving into your neighborhood. Beware of the Japs. Because Japanese Americans are all around just bad people because the Japanese army bombed Pearl Harbor. Yeah, because that logic makes sense. No, it doesn't. It was bigoted to put a blanketed statement on Japanese Americans. And it's just as bigoted to put a blanketed statement around all Russian people. It bothers me. I even have to make a video on this topic. It should be fucking common sense. But apparently it's not. Most ignorant Americans on the right, center, and left are all on this anti-Russian people train. History is not going to look very kind at you for that. History is going to say, yeah, they're just as bigoted as those who blame the Japanese for Pearl Harbor. All the Japanese Americans who did nothing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. See you next time.